Today, I want to tell you a story. It's not a story from old books or faraway places. It's a story that lives inside you, in this very moment, as you breathe, as you listen to these words. It's the story of something extraordinary that your body has always known how to do, although perhaps no one has ever told it to you this way. You know, I've reached an age where I've seen many fads come and go. Miracle diets, magic pills, promises that shine like fireworks and fade just as quickly. But there is something that remains, something that doesn't change with the seasons or the decades. And this is it. Your body holds ancient wisdom. Inside you, at this very moment, there is a hormone called GLP-1. Don't worry about the complicated name. What matters isn't its name, but what it does. Imagine your body is like an old, well-built house. And this hormone is like that wise neighbor who always knows when you need help. When you eat, GLP-1 whispers to your pancreas, "It's time to get to work." Release insulin calmly, without rushing. It tells your stomach, "Go slow, friend, take your time." And it tells your brain, "You're satisfied, you don't need any more." It's like having an internal teacher who knows perfectly the rhythm your body needs. For years, scientists studied this hormone with amazement. What if we could mimic it? They wondered. What if we could create a drug that does the same thing? And so, names you may have heard were born. Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. These are medications that try to copy what your body already knows how to do. Think about that for a moment. They're trying to imitate something that you already own it. Now, I'm not going to tell you that those medications don't work. That would be dishonest to me. For some people, in certain circumstances, under careful medical supervision, they can be useful tools. But and this is an important but. They come with a price. I'm not just talking about the monetary price, although that's considerable too. I'm talking about the price your body pays. Nausea that makes you dread every meal. Dizziness that makes you doubt every step. Digestive problems that turn the simple into complicated, and long-term effects that we are only just beginning to understand. It reminds me of that old story about the man who searched the world for water, digging wells in faraway lands, spending fortunes on expeditions, without realizing that under his own house, there was a crystal-clear spring. And here's the wonderful thing. The reason I wanted to sit down with you today. You don't need to imitate what you already have. Your body can produce its own GLP-1, naturally, generously. No side effects, no dependency, no monthly bills. He just needs you to give him what he's asking for. And what he is asking for is as old as the earth itself. Let me tell you about something called fiber. I know you've heard that word 1,000 times. You probably associate it with boredom, with obligation, with those awkward conversations about digestion. But forget all that for a moment. Fiber isn't just something you should eat. It's a key that unlocks doors within your own body. You see, when you eat foods rich in a special kind of fiber called beta-glucans, but again, don't worry about the names, something beautiful happens. That fiber travels through your digestive system, like a friendly traveler greeting everyone along the way. And when it reaches your gut, something magical happens. The good bacteria that live there, yes. You have millions of tiny allies living inside you take that fiber and transform it into a substance called butyrate. Think of butyrate as a messenger that knocks on the door of certain special cells and tells them, "It's time to release GLP-1," and your body obeys. Not because you're forcing it, not because you're taking some strange pill, but because that's how it was designed to work. It's like watering a plant. You're not forcing the plant to grow. You're simply giving it what it needs to do what it already knows how to do. So, where do you find these magical beta-glucans? Here's the best part. You find it in the humblest foods. The foods our grandparents ate without a second thought. Oats. That warm cereal that has accompanied 1,000 mornings, 1,000 winters, 1,000 stories told in cozy kitchens. Barley. That noble grain that has nourished entire civilizations. Appearing in comforting soups and soul-warming stews. Mushrooms. Those little treasures of the earth that grow in the stillness of the forest, full of nutritional secrets. Legumes, lentils, beans, chickpeas. The ingredients of recipes passed down from generation to generation. The ones your grandmother made without measurements, just with love and experience. Isn't it wonderful? The solution isn't in a shiny laboratory on the other side of the world. It's in your kitchen pantry, at your local market, in the recipes you know by heart. Now, let me paint you a picture. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, not in a hurry, not anxious, just with the calm of someone who knows they have all the time they need. You go to your kitchen. You put water on to boil. The sound is comforting, isn't it? That gentle bubbling that promises something good. You take half a cup of oats. Not the instant kind from those packets full of sugar and artificial flavors. No, real oats. The kind with texture. The kind that needs a few minutes of your time. You pour it into the water. Maybe you add a pinch of cinnamon, perhaps a little salt. You let it cook slowly, stirring occasionally, thinking of nothing in particular. Meanwhile, cut up half an apple, or a handful of blueberries if they're in season, or simply some walnuts, which also have their own treasure trove of fiber. 5 minutes later, you have a bowl of creamy, comforting oatmeal, with that aroma that reminds you of simpler mornings. You sit down, not in front of the television, not with your phone in your hand, just you and your bowl. You eat slowly. You feel the texture. You notice how it fills you, not just your stomach, but something deeper. And while you eat, without you knowing it, without you feeling it, your body is working its magic. The fiber is being gratefully received by your gut bacteria. Butyrate is beginning to form. Signals are being sent. GLP-1 is being released. Your blood sugar stabilizes smoothly, without dramatic spikes or sudden drops. Your appetite is naturally regulated. It's not that you lose your hunger, that would be artificial. It's that your body knows when it's had enough. Your digestion flows more easily. Your heart benefits. Your cholesterol improves. Your energy remains stable for hours. All this, from a simple bowl of oatmeal. A moment of intimacy, but it doesn't end there, you know? At midday, perhaps you prepare a soup. One of those soups that takes time, but not effort. Pearl barley, some vegetables, homemade or good quality broth. Barley has that wonderful quality of becoming creamy as it cooks, almost like risotto, but without all the work. And it's full of those beta-glucans that your body is learning to love. In the afternoon, if you fancy an appetizer, try some sautéed mushrooms. With a little garlic, perhaps. A touch of fresh parsley. Mushrooms are like flavor sponges. They absorb all the goodness you put in them. And in return, they give you their meaty texture, their umami flavor, and yes, those beta-glucans that continue to support your natural GLP-1. For dinner, perhaps a lentil stew, with some carrot onion and a touch of cumin. Whole wheat bread on the side in. Other source of fiber? I'm not talking about a strict diet. I'm not talking about deprivation or obsessively counting calories. I'm talking about eating like our ancestors did. Like they did when food was simple, real, unprocessed. Back when ingredients had names you could pronounce, when recipes were passed down orally, not from lab to lab. Now, I know some of you are curious. You want to understand the why behind the what. So let me explain, calmly and without complicated jargon, exactly what's happening when you choose these foods. When you eat oats, barley, or any food rich in beta-glucans, you're introducing a special type of soluble fiber. Soluble means that it partially dissolves in water, forming a gel-like substance. This gel does several wonderful things. First, it slows down digestion. Now, before you think, slow down? That sounds bad. Hear me out. Slower digestion means nutrients are absorbed more gradually, in a more controlled way. It's like the difference between drinking a glass of water in one gulp versus sipping it slowly over an hour. One floods your system, the other nourishes it steadily. Second, this gel helps trap certain types of molecules, including cholesterol, and carries them out of the body. That's why soluble fiber is known to help lower cholesterol. It's not magic. It's simple but effective mechanics. Third, and this is where it gets really interesting. When this fiber reaches your large intestine, your gut bacteria ferment it. Now, fermentation might sound strange, but it's a completely natural process. It's the same process that turns grapes into wine, milk into yogurt, and cabbage into sauerkraut. Your bacteria take those beta-glucans and produce short-chain fatty acids, primarily the butyrate I mentioned earlier. Butyrate is extraordinary. It nourishes the cells lining your gut. It reduces inflammation. It improves the intestinal barrier. And here's the connection to our main topic. Stimulates the L cells in your gut to release GLP-1. L cells are like tiny hormone factories. They're waiting for the right signal. And butyrate is that signal. When GLP-1 is released, it travels through your bloodstream with several messages. It tells your pancreas, release insulin intelligently, in proportion to the food that is just entered. It tells your liver, reduce glucose production a little. We have enough circulating. It tells your stomach, take your time to empty yourself. There's no rush. It tells your brain, we are satisfied, we are nourished. Everything is fine. All of this happens naturally, orchestrated perfectly. It's like a symphony where each instrument enters at the exact moment, without the need for an external conductor. Your body, you already know how to do this. He's always known. He just needed the right ingredients. But here's the truly beautiful part. What makes this approach so much better than simply taking a pill? When you nourish your body with these fiber-rich foods, you're not just stimulating GLP-1. You're doing much, much more. Think of it as the difference between painting one wall of your house versus renovating the entire house. GLP-1 medications do one thing and they do it well. I won't deny it. But food does 100 things at once. The hidden benefits? Your heart grows stronger. Soluble fiber has been studied for decades, and the results are consistent. It reduces LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, by 5 to 10%. That may not seem like much, but for your heart, it's a significant benefit. Furthermore, these foods help lower blood pressure. Not dramatically, not overnight, but steadily and reliably your digestion improves. And here I'm not just talking about regularity, although that's important too. I'm talking about a more diverse, more robust gut microbiota. Think of your gut as a garden. Medications are like putting on chemical fertilizer. They might work, but they only nourish one thing. High-fiber foods are like rich compost, full of life, that nourishes the entire ecosystem. A healthy gut means better nutrient absorption. It means less inflammation. It means a stronger immune system, because 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. Your energy state. Do you remember those afternoons where, an hour after eating, you feel exhausted, needing a nap, unable to concentrate? That's the spike and crash of blood sugar. It's what happens when you eat refined carbohydrates that are digested quickly. But when you eat fiber, especially soluble fiber, that cycle is broken. The energy arrives more slowly, but lasts longer. There's no roller coaster, just a smooth, reliable road. Your brain benefits. Recent studies are revealing fascinating connections between gut health and mental health. They call it the gut-brain axis. When your gut is happy, when your bacteria are well-fed, they produce neurotransmitters like serotonin that affect your mood, your mental clarity, even your memory. I'm not saying that oatmeal cures depression, but I am saying that nourishing your body in this way supports your mental well-being in ways we're only just beginning to understand. Your inflammation decreases. Low-grade chronic inflammation, the kind that doesn't hurt but works silently, is the root of so many diseases. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, even some types of cancer. The butyrate produced by your gut bacteria when they ferment fiber is a powerful anti-inflammatory. It works quietly, day after day, extinguishing small fires before they become wildfires. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds good, but change is hard. I've eaten a certain way for decades. How do I begin? And you're right. Change can feel overwhelming. But let me tell you a secret I've learned over the years. You don't need to change everything at once. In fact, you shouldn't even try. Dramatic changes rarely last. It's the small, steady steps that go far. Starting with simplicity, first step. This week, just this week, commit to eating oatmeal for breakfast 3 mornings. Not 7, 3. That's manageable, right? It's not a lifelong commitment. Just 3 mornings. Buy good quality oats, the kind that take a few minutes to cook, not instant, and prepare them with love. With time, as if you were caring for someone you love deeply. Because you're doing it, you're taking care of yourself. Second step. The following week, add a meal with legumes. It can be as simple as opening a can of lentils, heating them up with some sautéed onions and spices, or making a bean soup on Sunday that will last for several days. You don't need complicated recipes. In fact, the simplest ones are often the best. Third step. Incorporate mushrooms or barley wherever you can. Add mushrooms to your scrambled eggs. Use barley instead of rice in your next stew. Small exchanges. Not addictions that overwhelm your life, just smart exchanges. When you feel resistance, there will be times when you don't want to cook. When oatmeal seems boring. When you miss your sugary cereals or your toasted white bread. All right. This is not a path to perfection. It is a path to progress. If you don't eat oatmeal one day, you haven't failed. Just come back the next day. If you skip legumes for a week, you haven't ruined everything. You can simply resume eating them when you can. Imperfect consistency always triumphs over abandoned perfection. And here's the secret. The diet industry doesn't want you to know. Your body is incredibly generous. Every time you choose something nutritious, your body responds with gratitude. It doesn't matter how many years you've eaten differently. It doesn't matter how many times you've failed before. Your body is always ready to heal itself. It's just waiting for you to give it the tools. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 68 years old. For years she struggled with her weight, her energy, her blood sugar. She tried every diet imaginable. She took pills. She visited specialists. Nothing seemed to work in the long run. So, a year ago, she decided to try something different. Not a diet. Not restriction, just ... adding. She added oats to her mornings. She added lentils to her lunches. She added mushrooms and barley wherever she could. He didn't remove anything drastic. He didn't prohibit anything. He only added things. 6 months later, she had lost 15 kilos without actively trying. But more important than that, much more important, her energy returned. Her blood sugar levels stabilized. Her doctor reduced her medication. But what surprised her most was something she hadn't expected. Her mood improved. Her joint pain lessened. She slept better. "It's like my body has been waiting for this," she told me. "Like I'm finally giving it what it needs, after years of giving it what I thought it wants." Or consider Robert. 72 years old. Type 2 diabetic for a decade. Tired of pricking your finger, adjusting insulin, and worrying about every meal? It started with a simple barley soup, 3 times a week. That was his whole plan. 3 months later, her hemoglobin A1C, the marker of long-term sugar control, had dropped from 8.5 to 6.8. Her doctor was amazed. "What new medication are you taking?" he asked. "Barley," Robert replied. "Just barley." I'm not saying everyone will experience such dramatic results. Every body is unique. Every situation is different. But I'm saying this. Your body wants to heal. It wants to function properly. It's designed to do so. You just need the right raw materials. Now, let's answer some questions you might be thinking about. How much fiber do I need? General recommendations suggest 25 to 30 grams per day for adults. But honestly, most people don't even get half of that. Don't obsess over exact numbers. Instead, do this. Try to include at least one good source of fiber in every meal. Okay. Oatmeal or wholemeal bread for breakfast. Legumes or barley for lunch. Plenty of vegetables for dinner. If you do that, you'll probably get where you need to be without having to count grams. What if beans give me gas? The honest question that everyone has but few ask. First, it's normal. Gas is a sign that your gut bacteria are working. They're fermenting that fiber. But there are tricks. Start with small portions. Your gut needs time to adjust. Soak the dried legumes well before cooking them and discard the soaking water. Cook with a strip of kombu seaweed. It helps break down gas-causing sugars. Chew well. Digestion begins in the mouth. Give your body time. In 2 to 3 weeks, gas usually decreases considerably. Can I eat too much fiber in theory? Yes. Too much fiber can cause bloating, cramps, and even interfere with the absorption of certain minerals. But honestly, in the real world, it's rare. Most people don't eat anywhere near enough fiber. Just use common sense. Increase gradually, drink enough water, listen to your body. What if I don't like oatmeal? No problem. Oatmeal is just one option among many. Barley, quinoa, brown rice, rye bread, legumes, fiber-rich vegetables such as broccoli and artichokes. Fruits such as apples and pears with skin, nuts, chia seeds. Nature has given us an abundance of options. Find the ones you enjoy. Because here's the truth. If you don't enjoy it, you won't sustain it. And consistency imperfect, but constancy is what creates results. Do I need fiber supplements? They can be useful in certain situations, especially if you have difficulty eating enough fiber for medical or practical reasons. But whole foods are always superior. Why? Because they don't just provide fiber. They provide vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, hundreds of compounds that science is only just beginning to understand. A supplement gives you one component. A food gives you a complete ecosystem. How long does it take to see results? This is the question everyone wants answered, and I understand why. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want results yesterday, but the truth is more nuanced. Some effects are rapid. Many people notice improved energy and digestion within a few days. Others take longer. Weight loss, improvement in blood markers, reduction of inflammation, those usually take weeks or months. But here's the important thing. Every nutritious meal is doing something good, even if you don't feel it immediately. It's like watering a plant. You don't see the growth overnight. But if you look after a month, the difference is undeniable. It would be negligent of me not to mention this. Food is powerful. It's essential. But it's not the only thing that matters. Natural GLP-1, metabolic health, overall well-being are influenced by other aspects of your life as well. The movement, for example. You don't need to run marathons. But walking regularly, outdoors if you can, works wonders. Exercise helps regulate blood sugar. It improves insulin sensitivity. It strengthens bones. It improves mood. 30 minutes a day, most days. That's all. You don't need more to see significant benefits. The dream of sleep. We treat it as a luxury when it's a necessity. Lack of sleep disrupts blood sugar regulation, it increases appetite. It hinders weight loss, it increases inflammation. 7 to 8 hours, in a dark room, at a cool temperature. It is one of the best medicines there is. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which interferes with natural GLP-1, increases blood sugar, and promotes fat storage. Find your way to calm down. It might be meditation. It might be gardening. It might simply be sitting quietly with a cup of tea each morning. What matters is not what technique you use, but that you have moments of peace in your day. Social connection studies are clear. Loneliness is as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Being with others, sharing meals, cooking for someone you love, all of this nourishes not only your body, but your spirit. And when your spirit is nourished, your body responds. So yes, eat your oatmeal, eat your lentils, but also walk, sleep well, manage your stress, connect with others. True health is holistic. It's the whole picture, not just one piece. You know, the more I study the human body, the more humble I feel. The complexity is astounding. The interconnection between systems is poetic. The capacity for self-healing is almost miraculous. And yet, for the last few decades, we have been operating from a fundamentally flawed premise. The premise that the body is broken by default, and that it needs constant external intervention to function. You need this pill for your cholesterol, this one for your blood pressure, this one for your blood sugar, this one to help you sleep, this one for your digestion, this one for your pain. And before you know it, you're taking 10 medications, each with its own side effects, each interfering with the others in ways we barely understand. I'm not saying you'll never need medication. Some are literal lifesavers. They're miracles of modern science. But what I'm saying is this. We've forgotten to ask the most basic question. What does my body need to function as it was designed? And in most cases, the answer is surprisingly simple. It needs real food, regular movement, adequate rest, genuine connections.
Perfect.
Meaning, these aren't things you can buy at a pharmacy. They aren't patentable. They don't generate billions in profits. But they work. They work because they work with your biology, not against it. They work because they support your innate healing systems instead of trying to replace them. They work because they recognize a fundamental truth. Your body is not your enemy. Your body isn't trying to make you sick. It's not sabotaging your efforts. It's not inherently defective. Your body is your most loyal ally. It has been with you every second of your life. It has fought battles you never knew were happening. It has healed itself in ways you don't even notice. It deserves your respect, your care, your gratitude. And when you give it what it truly needs, not what advertising says it needs, but what your deepest wisdom knows it needs, it responds with a generosity that may surprise you. So, what do we do with all this? How do we take this information and turn it into lived experience? Not with dramatic revolution, not with extreme changes that last a week and then fade away, but with something much more powerful. The constant decision. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, you have a decision to make, not a decision about the rest of your life, just about that morning. What are you going to have for breakfast? And at that moment, remembering what we've talked about here, remembering that your body has this beautiful ability to produce its own GLP-1 when you give it the right tools. Perhaps you'll choose oats. Not because you have to, not because someone is forcing you, but because you want to. Because it makes sense. Because it's an act of self. Then, at midday, another decision. Small. Manageable. What are you going to have for lunch? Perhaps you'll remember barley soup. Perhaps you'll think of lentils. Perhaps you'll simply add more vegetables to whatever you're eating. Every decision is small. But small decisions, repeated over and over, become something extraordinary. They become habits. Habits become lifestyles. Lifestyles become destinations. And here's the beautiful part. You are not alone in this. Thousands of people are making these same choices. They are rediscovering the power of real food. They are reconnecting with the wisdom of their body. You are part of a silent movement of people who are choosing something different. Not because it's fashionable, not because it's what everyone is doing, but because it's true, because it works, because it honors the innate intelligence of our bodies. Before I finish, I want to leave you with some recipes. Not just food recipes, but recipes for life. The perfect oatmeal recipe and ritual. 1/2 cup of whole grain oats. 1 cup of water or milk, whichever you prefer. A pinch of salt. A pinch of cinnamon. Bring the water to a boil while taking 3 deep breaths. Add the oats and reduce the heat to medium-low. Stir occasionally for 5 to 7 minutes, taking your time. While cooking, think of something you are grateful for. When it's creamy, turn off the heat. Add some fresh fruit, nuts, or a drizzle of honey if you like. Sit down. Eat without distractions. Savor every bite. Barley soup for the soul. 1/2 cup of pearl barley. 4 cups of broth, vegetable or chicken. 1 diced carrot. 1 chopped celery stalk. 1 small chopped onion. 2 chopped garlic cloves. Fresh herbs, thyme, parsley, salt and pepper. 2 taste in a large pot. Saute the onion, carrot, and celery in a little oil. When softened, add the garlic. Cook for 1 more minute. Add the barley and stir to lightly. Toast it. Pour in the broth. Add the herbs. Bring to a boil, then reduce to a simmer. Cook for 45 to 50 minutes, until the barley is tender. Adjust the seasoning. Serve hot, knowing that every spoonful is nourishing your body in ways you can hardly imagine. Simple but sublime. Lentils. 1 cup of lentils, red, green, or brown. 3 cups of water. 1 chopped onion, 2 sliced carrots, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 bay leaf, salt to taste. Juice of 1/2 lemon at the end. Rinse the lentils under cold water. In a pot, saute the onion until translucent. Add the carrots and spices. Cook for 2 minutes. Add the lentils, water, and bay leaf. Bring to a boil, then reduce to a simmer. Cook for 20 to 30 minutes depending on the type of lentils. When tender, stir in the lemon juice and salt. Serve with whole wheat bread or over brown rice. But remember, these recipes aren't commandments. They're suggestions, starting points. Feel free to adapt them, to change them, to make them your own. The important thing is not that you follow the exact recipe. The important thing is the act of choosing to nourish yourself. Now, I want you to do something with me. Close your eyes for a moment. Or if you're driving or doing something that requires attention, just listen with your imagination. Imagine it's 6 months from now. You're looking back to this moment, this day when you heard about natural GLP-1, about the power of fiber-rich foods, and you decided to try. Not perfectly, not obsessively, just ... consistently. Some mornings you ate oatmeal, others you didn't. But more than before, some weeks you made that barley soup, other weeks you forgot. But you tried. Little by little, without pressure, without stress, your diet changed. Not because you were on a diet, but because it made sense. Because your body responded. Because you felt better. Now, 6 months later, you notice things. Your pants are a little looser, or maybe much looser. Your energy is more stable. You no longer need that mid-afternoon nap. Your cravings have changed. Strangely, you want less sugar. Your body is asking for different things. You went to the doctor for your regular checkup. Your numbers had improved. Your doctor was impressed. "What have you been doing?" he asked. And you smiled. Because the answer was so simple, it almost seemed silly to say it out loud. "I'm eating better," you said. That's all. I'm just eating better. But you know it's not just about food. It's about the act of choosing. It's about respecting your body. It's about reconnecting with an ancient wisdom that has always been within you. It's the understanding that you don't need expensive solutions. You don't need tricks. You don't need the latest trend. All you need to do is listen, nurture, trust. Now open your eyes. That future in which you feel better, in which your health has improved, in which you have more energy, more vitality, more joy, that future can be real. It's not guaranteed, of course. Life doesn't come with guarantees, but it is possible. It is probable, even if you consistently choose in that direction. And it starts with a decision, a small decision, a decision you can make right now. So here we are, back where we started. I told you I had a story to tell you. A story about something that lives inside you. And now you know her. You know about GLP-1. You know how your body can produce it naturally. You know which foods stimulate it. You know the benefits that go far beyond weight or blood sugar. But more important than all that, you know something deeper. You know that your body is not your enemy. You know that health doesn't have to be complicated. You know that the solutions are often simpler than the industry wants you to believe. And you know you have power. Real, genuine power over your well-being. No absolute power, of course. Genetics matters. Circumstances matter. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we get sick. But within the limits of what we can control, you have more power than you might have thought. The power is in the bowl of oatmeal, in the barley soup, in the humble lentils, in the earthy mushrooms. It's about choosing to move, to rest, to connect, to breathe deeply. It's about honoring your body instead of fighting against it. And that, my dear friend, is a beautiful thing, because it means you can start today, right now, without waiting for permission, without needing expensive equipment or complicated software. All you need is willpower and real food, and a little patience while your body remembers how to do what it always knew how to do. Before I say goodbye, I want to ask you something. If this conversation has resonated with you, if something we've shared has touched on a truth you recognize, even if you can't fully articulate it, share this message. Share it with someone you know who is struggling with their weight, their sugar, or their health. Share it with someone who is tired of medications and side effects. Share it with someone who simply needs a reminder that their body is wise, capable, and worthy of loving care. Don't share it because I asked you to. Share it because information that saves or improves lives needs to circulate. In a world full of noise, tricks, and empty promises, the simple truth deserves to be heard. And leave me a comment. Tell me, are you going to try incorporating more beta-glucans into your diet? What will your first step be? Oats? Barley? Lentils? Is there something holding you back from starting? Let's talk about it. You're not alone on this journey. We're a community, and we support each other. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Not because I need numbers or statistics, but because I want to keep sharing with you. I want to keep exploring ways we can live with more vitality, more joy, more fulfillment in these precious years we've been given. I have more stories to tell, more wisdom to share, more conversations like this, where we sit together like old friends and talk about the things that truly matter. And finally, try something this week. Don't just take my word for it. Experience it. Feel it in your own body. Make that oatmeal. Cook that soup. Eat those lentils. And note, pay attention. Not with anxiety or unrealistic expectations, but with gentle curiosity. How do you feel afterwards? What is your energy like? What is your appetite like? Give your body a few weeks to respond, to adjust, to remember, and then come back here. Tell me what you noticed, what changed, what you learned. You know, there's an old saying I love. Sometimes, the best medicine really does start in the kitchen. This isn't my own saying. It's ancient wisdom. Wisdom that existed long before we had laboratories and miracle pills and drugs. It is the wisdom of grandmothers, of healers, of people who understood that the body and food are not enemies, but allies. And here we are, in the 21st century, with all our technology and advanced knowledge, rediscovering what was always true. Your body knows what to do. It just needs the right tools. So I'll leave you with this. Let your kitchen be your pharmacy. Let your next meal be your next medicine. Let every nourishing decision be an act of self-love. Have the patience to wait while your body heals. May you have the wisdom to trust your own rhythms. May you have the grace to forgive yourself when you are not perfect. And may you have the joy of discovering that everything you needed has always lived within you. My name has been part of this conversation, but what really matters is your name, your story, your journey. and I sincerely hope that this is the beginning of something beautiful for you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your openness. Thank you for taking care of yourself. Now go. Prepare something nutritious. Eat mindfully. Live with intention. And remember, every day is a new opportunity to choose well-being. Have a beautiful day, full of light, health, and joy. See you soon.